So you think the incorrect game plan?
Incorrect game plan, because remember, if you look at the fight, Joseph was chucking 2 shots and then you have a breather. You know, you chuck another 2 shots, have a breather. So Fabio realized that, and then Fabio just starts chucking from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is what sometimes is needed to get help. I remember David Benavidez failed, and he's like, I'm gonna get help about this, and for all intents and purposes, we assume he doesn't do it anymore.
Joseph Parker failed a drug test on the cocaine. I think it was that. Joseph Parker. I'm like, you're one of the most decent ones out there.
But Joseph has got to explain himself now. And otherwise, he'll suffer the same consequences to some extent of all the fighters that have failed various tests. Liam Cameron being precedent. You can't sanction Liam Cameron.
4 years.
You can't sanction Liam Cameron.
4-year ban.
And subsequently not Joseph Parker. Now, I don't want this for Joseph because I think he's a lovely man and a great fighter. But he's popped for cocaine. And so with that in mind, he's got to account for it. And it's upon him to account for it, not for them to turn around and justify their testing. He's got to explain, like with all of these things, which is strict liability, why that was in his system.
Boxing fans are furious, and the latest scandal surrounding Joseph Parker has the community in complete uproar. The former heavyweight champion, who had been riding the wave of one of the best runs of his career, is now facing major questions about his future. Parker's recent fight against Fabio Wardley was supposed to be another step toward reclaiming his place among the top heavyweights, but everything took a dramatic turn. Fans were stunned when Wardley stopped Parker in the 11th round, ending the New Zealander's 6-fight winning streak and dealing a serious blow to his ambitions of challenging Alexander Usyk for the world title.
You cannot give good advice once you're in the fighting game. You have to prepare the right way, and Joseph did not respect Fabio. He didn't prepare the right way.
So you think the incorrect game plan?
Incorrect game plan, because remember, if you look at the fight, Joseph was chucking 2 shots and then you have a breather. You chuck another 2 shots, have a breather. So Fabio realized that, and then Fabio just starts chucking from everywhere.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do. Remember we were here, and then Andy goes, yeah, Joseph's family here, they're staying in a hotel. Yeah, so I bet you money after he finished training, this guy was going to the hotel to hang out with his kids and having some of them, when your kids are eating.
That loss alone was enough to stir debate, given the controversial stoppage in London, where many felt Parker still had more to give. However, things escalated significantly after it was revealed that Parker failed a drugs test on the day of his fight with Wardley. The positive test for cocaine was first reported by Sunsport and has thrown his career into uncertainty.
Sun newspaper reporting that Joseph Parker failed a drug test for cocaine on the day of his loss to Fabio Wardley.
Look, the first thing I would always say when something like this happens is performance enhancing. Now, it's probably not, but it depends who you ask, because there's some fighters that probably had it in their careers, in their camps, that would argue that it was performance enhancing. Now, I haven't got much experience, if any at all, with that substance, but you wouldn't think that a heavyweight would need it
It's very odd, isn't it?
To do anything performance related. Now, who am I to judge, outside of being a professional boxer? We're all humans.
Yeah.
And we all have our own vices, and we all have our own stress.
Sources close to the situation have confirmed that Parker now faces potential sanctions and a lengthy ban from boxing, leaving fans and analysts questioning what this means for his future in the sport. The testing failure came just one day after his team received news that the British Boxing Board of Control would not be reviewing the referee's stoppage in the Wardley fight. Many observers had thought the early stoppage in the 11th round might have been unfair, but the board stood by the referee's decision.
For it to be a failed drug test at that point, you start to wonder if there's something a little deeper.
You gotta have a problem.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was trying to beat around the bush, but yeah, directly, I mean, you can't wait till another day or two and then you just do it then. I mean, if that's what you're into, they test you day after, you wouldn't have popped if you would have just waited another couple of days, right? So yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe this is what sometimes is needed to get help. I remember David Benavidez failed, and he's like, I'm gonna get help about this, and for all intents and purposes, we assume he doesn't do it anymore.
He's a lot younger
Yeah.
when he popped.
Yeah.
That's another thing we were talking about. By the way, of course, we discussed this stuff off camera before we started.
Robert Smith, the general secretary of the BBB of C, explained that the fight had been long and grueling, with Parker being hurt several times, and the referee's call was justified under the circumstances. That news, combined with the drug test revelations, has created a storm around Parker's career. He said if that had been the first or second round and it was the first time that Parker was hurt, it's a different matter and a different story, but I thought the stoppage was bang on. It was a long and grueling fight. Parker had been hurt several times and was not really throwing back. Joseph Parker's manager, Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions, confirmed that the boxer is now under investigation following the positive test result. The 33-year-old, who lost to Wardley on October 25th in the WBO interim heavyweight title fight, faces serious scrutiny. Sources speaking anonymously stated that the voluntary anti-doping agency, VADA, found the presence of cocaine in Parker's system during routine pre-fight testing. The implications are severe, as the UK anti-doping agency, UKAD, may impose a ban while conducting their investigation, pending a hearing with the National Anti-Doping Panel. Although cocaine is classified as a recreational drug rather than a performance-enhancing substance, it is still banned in competition by the World Anti-Doping Agency under UKAD rules. This restriction applies to the day of the fight, meaning Parker could face suspension even though the drug is not considered to give an athletic advantage. If found in violation, he could be banned for up to 2 years, with the exact length depending on the level of negligence or proof of intent. Factors like a lack of intent or evidence showing he was unaware could reduce the ban to just a few months, but the situation still casts a shadow over his boxing future.
Surprise. And I'll wait and see what happens. I mean, I don't know the findings. We don't know. I haven't seen statements really. I don't know. It's come out in the social media world as these things do. We heard that AJ and Jake Paul was almost done for December, but Eddie said to me yesterday it's 60-40. So we don't know. I don't know if that is the case, and he's failed a sample for cocaine. That's really surprising, massively surprising for me. I love Joe Parker. He's been an amazing fighter over the years. He's a wonderful human being. He's been great to be around. So yeah, it took me by real surprise and really disappointed me. So we just have to wait and see how it unfolds.
Parker himself responded on social media, claiming that the positive test was unexpected. He insisted he did not knowingly take any prohibited substances and strongly denied the use of performance-enhancing drugs. He expressed confidence that the investigation would clear his name and confirmed he is cooperating fully with the ongoing process. He wrote on his Instagram, "Before my recent fight, I took a voluntary test and have now been informed that it returned an adverse result. This came as a real surprise to me. I did not take any prohibited substance, I do not use performance-enhancing drugs, and do not support their use." Despite his statements, the news has already sparked outrage across the boxing community, with fans and analysts alike weighing in on social media. Many have mocked the situation, some with disbelief, and others with disappointment at seeing a fighter they once admired facing such a serious issue.
To be enjoying those kind of recreational drugs, usually you go through something like that. If you're the type to you'll go through that crazy period when you're younger, you're making money and all that other stuff, and then you get a little older, you're like, you know what, I got to get myself together.
Settle down,
I want to settle my life down a little bit. I want to settle my money down a little bit, because obviously Joseph Parker, we assume is fine financially. So, but you're at the age where you're not spending it on drugs anymore. So you get a little older, now you're spending it on more responsibles.
The potential consequences for Parker are significant. His career momentum has taken a major hit, and opportunities that were previously within reach now face uncertainty. A fight against Oleksandr Usyk, which could have been the pinnacle of his comeback, is now less likely. Similarly, talks of a possible bout with Anthony Joshua or other high-profile opponents could be jeopardized, as promoters and sanctioning bodies may hesitate to schedule a fight until the investigation is resolved. Sponsors and endorsements could also be affected, further complicating Parker's financial and professional standing in boxing.
Joseph Parker failed the drug test on the cocaine. I think it was that. Joseph Parker. I'm like, you're one of the most decent ones out there. So I'm baffled. I've never done it. And so I just think, I don't know what the benefits are. I don't know why you think you get away with it. I don't know what you're thinking. I heard in the 70s, fighters took it to just give them that buzz. And the drug enforcement agencies got smart and got wise to it and said, if you're going to fight, you've got to be clean. Joseph Parker, I think he's put out on a defense saying, no, that's not right. I don't know how that rolls. I don't know what the situation is, but I was really, really surprised with Joseph Parker because he's one of the nice guys.
Analysts and former fighters have not held back in expressing their opinions. Many feel this incident is completely out of character for Parker, and the backlash has been intense. While some observers are waiting for the full facts to emerge, others have already made harsh judgments, questioning whether Parker can recover from this setback and return to championship contention. The scandal has sparked a larger conversation about accountability, professionalism, and the impact of such incidents on boxing's reputation.
VADA's been at the centre of controversy in recent times, especially with the Conor Benn stuff and whatnot, and you go, right, so when was this test taken? Right, so if it was it taken in the week of the fight? If so, how would Joseph Parker be doing cocaine in the week of the fight? It's not performance enhancing. If anything, it's going to massively affect his performance getting into the ring. And why would you do it? That just seems absurd, like insane. Like, knowing Joseph Parker is the person that we do, he's a clean living, really good guy who's now sort of like thrown this spanner in the works with failing this drug test for cocaine. And you just go like, or was this test done in prior to the fight, in the build up through fight week, and it's only just come to evidence, and it, only come to light.
The nature of cocaine as a recreational drug, rather than a performance enhancer, adds a layer of complexity. Some argue that Parker's positive test, though serious, should not completely derail his career, especially since the substance does not improve athletic performance. Others maintain that rules are rules, and competing under the influence of any banned substance, even recreational, is a breach that could have serious ramifications. The UKAD is known for its strict enforcement of anti-doping regulations, and the British Boxing Board of Control is expected to follow protocols closely, meaning Parker's path back to the ring may be challenging.
Yeah, great analysis, Charlie. The main thing is, look, let's always give the fighter the benefit of the, I mean, not the benefit of the doubt, but an opportunity to explain themselves or look into the situation or make a statement at least. The issue with that substance is it's banned in competition under the WADA code, and under the WADA code, in competition represents the day of the fight, which you could actually essentially fail a test for that a week before the fight and not be found, not receive a ban, not break any rules, because it's not in competition under WADA. So the problem that he has is it's in competition because it's on the fight night.
The situation is not just about a single fight or a single test, it's about the long-term consequences for a fighter who once held a world title. Parker's career trajectory has been impressive, and he was in a position to climb back into the heavyweight elite. Now, with a potential 2-year ban looming, that climb may be halted. Boxing experts are debating whether Parker can return to form, and if he does, how long it will take before he regains the trust of fans, promoters, and governing bodies.
The reasons why he was supposedly cleared, he hasn't chosen to do that, and I'd be curious to see if he does choose to start suing people for the the unfair allegations and the loss of earnings and the revenue that he lost for 2 years and the reputational damage that he got. Now with Joseph Parker, I mean, it's a cousin of a drug failure. It's not the same thing because it's not a performance enhancing drug. It's a recreational drug. But Joseph's have got to explain himself now, and otherwise he'll suffer the same consequences to some extent of all the fighters that have failed various tests. Liam Cameron being precedent. You can't sanction Liam Cameron.
4 years.
You can't sanction Liam Cameron
4-year ban.
and subsequently not Joseph Parker. Now I don't want this for Joseph because I think he's a lovely man and a great fighter.
Boxing fans, what do you think? Is this the end of Joseph Parker's rise or just a temporary setback? Share your thoughts in the comments, let us know if you think he can bounce back, and make sure to like and share this video, subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest news, fight breakdowns, and insider takes from the world of boxing, and hit the bell so you never miss an update.